Have you ever wondered what makes the difference between a simple plot and a story that truly gets your heart pounding? Well, today we're doing just that. We are going to dissect the art of storytelling itself. We're taking one core story, a man, his dog, a giant snake, and we're going to break down a dozen different versions to see exactly how writers build thrills, create tension, and make us feel something. It all starts with two simple words. Right here, this is it. Two words. This single line from a version called The Final Chase is the raw, beating heart of the conflict. It's not a choice, it's not a suggestion, it's a primal command. It instantly puts you on edge and makes it crystal clear that the stakes couldn't be any higher.
So, how do you get so many different stories from one simple chase? We're about to find out. First, we'll dig into the primal conflict. Then, we'll see how changing the villain, the hero, and even the jungle itself can completely transform the narrative. And finally, we'll put it all together to see how these pieces build the perfect escape.
Okay, let's start with that core conflict. At its heart, this is a simple story about being chased. But with just a few smart additions, a simple chase can become a desperate, incredibly personal hunt for survival. And here's where the magic starts. Look at the left side. That's the bare bones of the plot. It's pure action, totally anonymous. But then look at the right, from the jungle hunt. The writer adds just three little things: a name, Rafik, a loyal companion, his dog Bruno, and a sensory detail, that dense, humid jungle. And just like that, an abstract idea becomes a personal struggle. We're not just watching anymore, are we? We're right there, running alongside them. And that's really the first trick in the storyteller's toolkit. The actual plot hasn't changed at all, but the stakes, they've gone through the roof. The second a character has a name and a friend he has to protect, it's not just about survival anymore. It's about their survival. And now we're invested.
Of course, a hero is only as interesting as the villain they're facing, which brings us to our evolving antagonist. Because in these stories, believe me, the snake is never just a snake. The way its intelligence and its motives change, well, that changes everything. You can see the evolution right here. The snake can be just a mindless obstacle, a simple force of nature. Or it can be a deadly surprise, a quick flash of fangs from the undergrowth. But the moment you give that snake a motive, a memory, it stops being an animal. It becomes a true villain. This one line changes the entire game. This was revenge. The story completely transforms from a simple survival tale into a psychological showdown. Our hero isn't just running from a creature anymore. He's running from an enemy that wants him dead for a reason. The chase is now a personal vendetta. All right, so with a vengeful villain on their tail, our hero needs an anchor. And that brings us to the story's true emotional core, the hero's loyal heart. Because in almost every single version, the one constant is the dog Bruno, and he is so much more than a sidekick. He's the unwavering protector who really defines what's at stake. His heroism is like clockwork. It follows this incredibly powerful pattern. First, he's the one who senses danger, right? That low growl gives us a warning. Then, he physically intercepts the attack, literally throwing himself in harm's way. He even rescues his companion from a fall. And time again, he creates a critical distraction, drawing the snake's attention away. Bruno isn't just a character. He's the engine that drives the action and the suspense. But it's not just about the fight, is it? In one version, after his companion is bitten and poisoned, Bruno actually uses his instincts to find a plant that works as an antidote. I mean, this is where his loyalty goes way beyond just physical protection. It becomes a bond so strong it can actually cheat death, proving that sometimes courage really is stronger than venom. So we have our hero and our villain locked in this desperate fight. But there's a third major player here that we can't ignore, the world itself. Because in a lot of these tellings, the jungle isn't just a place, it becomes an enemy all on its own. And watching this progression is just fascinating. The jungle starts as a totally passive backdrop, just vines, logs, and mud. But then it evolves. It becomes a merciless obstacle. Then it gets even worse. It becomes an active antagonist, a force that's literally setting traps. And in the most terrifying version, our hero realizes the jungle is an intelligent mastermind, that it's controlling the snakes. The world itself has become the ultimate bad guy. Okay, we have all the pieces on the board: a personal fight, a motivated villain, a loyal hero, and a world that's out to get them. So now let's see how it all comes together in the grand finale, the anatomy of an escape.
In so many of these versions, the climax follows this classic, heart-pounding formula. First, the anaconda attacks. Then Bruno intercepts, always Bruno. Then comes the mad dash through the jungle, which leads to that desperate plunge into a river that's, you guessed it, filled with more snakes. And once again, Bruno creates that life-saving distraction, giving them just enough time to collapse on the shore, exhausted, but alive. It's a formula that works every time, because each beat just keeps raising the stakes.
But even with that same basic structure, the very last words can totally change what the story means. One version ends with this feeling of pure relief, of triumph. But then you get an ending like this one. We're part of its game now. Whoa. Suddenly, that's not an ending at all. It's a warning. The survival story just became a horror story, and they're trapped forever.
So when you boil it all down, the what of this story is incredibly simple, right? A man and his dog are running from a snake in the jungle. That's the plot.
But the how is everything. The choice to make the snake vengeful, the decision to make the jungle a thinking, breathing enemy, and that focus on Bruno's loyal heart, which forces us to care. You see, the plot, that's just the skeleton. These details, that is the soul of the story. That's what makes us feel.
In the end, one simple story can make you feel a dozen different things, from triumph all the way to terror. It really all depends on the choices the storyteller makes. So the next time a story really truly grabs you and won't let go, ask yourself why. Was it the hero, the villain you were terrified of, or was it the world that just pulled you in completely? What were the choices that made it the version you can't forget?